Hello, everyone. My name is Carmen Morales. I am the UN Information Center in Mexico's director. And today I have the privilege of speaking with Melissa Fleming, United Nations Under-Secretary General for Global Communications at the International Book Fair in Guadalajara about information integrity. Welcome, Melissa.
Great to be here, Carmen.
So let's get started. Maybe you can give us a little bit of background on why you, the UN, and you and your team particularly have been so involved in putting this information integrity debate at the forefront of the UN agenda.
Because, thanks for that question, Carmen, because without a healthy information ecosystem, we cannot make advances on the SDGs. For example, on climate action. If climate change is being distorted or being called a hoax. So we need an information environment where facts surface over lies. But currently, our information ecosystem is polluted with misinformation and disinformation and hate speech. And it's really polarizing people. It's leading people astray. And so we really feel strongly that we need to work on our information environment so that people can have access to trusted, credible information.
Thank you, Melissa. You have often described the information ecosystem as one that can be harmful and even dangerous. So what do you think are the most important threats today that information integrity is facing?
It is, I think the threat is that we don't have a set of agreed facts anymore. I mean, it used to be that, the consensus is that climate change exists. Now this is being questioned. There was a certain, sense of tolerance that was more pervasive before social media came onto the scene. Now, people have lost all of their decorum online. They spew hate, attack people who are other than them, and it is. The threat is that there is unaccountable, harmful content circulating on social media, not only circulating, but being amplified because the algorithms are trained to boost content that is outrageous, that sparks fear and makes people's hearts palpitate. Whereas cool, cold facts or, nice, happy content is actually very often below the surface or even demoted.
And you mentioned hate speech, Melissa. Tell us a little bit about what the UN is doing to counter hate speech. I know we have a UN campaign, No to Hate campaign. What is the impact that this campaign in the UN is having?
Yeah, we have a campaign called No to Hate. It sounds kind of like obvious, but until we really get people to think that hate speech should not be tolerated. And what we're trying to pursue is the opposite of hate, and that is that people can live side by side in harmony and can work together on common solutions and not attack each other. Hate is a form of disinformation, and hate can lead to violence. Hate can even lead to war. Hate is dangerous. And so our campaign, No to Hate, which is a social media campaign, has inspired a lot of people to spread the word that actually we don't want hate. We want a different type of discourse.
So let's talk a little bit about the UN Global Information Principles. Can you tell us what the main goals are and how they were developed in collaboration with others?
Yeah, so one of the things, I lead the Department for Global Communications at the UN, and you, Carmen, are an important part of our department. And actually, our role is to impart trusted, factual information about the UN, but also about the state of the world. We have so much data, so many reports, so much information that no one else has. And our job, as you know, is to package it, distribute it, and get it out there. We kept finding that this was getting harder and harder. We have algorithms that actually de-emphasize content that is deemed to be political or and that includes the UN. So that's one of the things that kind of spurred me to say, we have to go beyond our typical communications role and create a blueprint for a healthy information ecosystem. And the Secretary General launched this report that I'm very proud to say our department worked very hard on over 2 years, because we consulted with people around the world on the information ecosystems that they were facing. And what we came up with was this blueprint, this set of recommendations for various stakeholders on, what their responsibility is in this ecosystem to make it more humane. And so there are recommendations for the platforms, there are recommendations for governments, but there are also recommendations for the media, the traditional media, as well as for advertisers and PR companies, and also for users. I would have to say, though, the most responsibility falls with the social media platforms and including AI actors.
That's very important. So I know these principles are aiming to empower all of these stakeholders. What is the call that we're making to these actors, the AI actors and the platforms?
Well, first, adhere to your own standards. I mean, they've actually published standards where they say that they want a global town square, for example, or they want a social media platform where friends and family are getting together and sharing and not, dividing people. And they're very specific. We are calling on them to live up to that, but also, to think about trust and safety. Unfortunately, many of the platforms have either decimated their trust and safety teams or vastly reduced them. We call for those to be scaled up. And we call on AI actors also and social media companies to employ safety by design. Disinformation should not be monetized. And that is unfortunately what is driving a lot of the disinformation, fake news sites, deep fakes, that it is actually profitable to spew disinformation and hate. And this needs to end.
That's very important, Melissa. So what do you think the global information integrity principles will achieve in the coming years? What do you hope that they will achieve?
Well, for us, it is, obviously the UN doesn't have any kind of regulatory authority, but we do have moral authority. We do have a kind of we are this. We hope that this is like a blueprint for people, for governments, for different stakeholders to look to implement. So one of the things that we're doing as a first action is we are getting our country offices around the world, like yours, Carmen, to be to embrace the global principles and to use them in their advocacy vis-a-vis the governments and other stakeholders in country. We're also trying to, calling for the bolstering of public interest media, because public interest media is an extremely important pillar in a democracy. And unfortunately, with the rise of social media, we have seen a real demise of the viability of public interest media because their financial model has crashed. So we need more investment in public interest media. We need, people also more investment in media literacy. Children need to be able to navigate social media, but our elders as well. It's not going to change overnight, and it requires us all of society approach. If especially the social media actors don't make the changes that would really make a difference.
Thank you so much, Melissa. So lastly, for all of those people that are inspired by the work you do and the global communications department you lead, what would be a message that would you like to give them so they can also contribute to a healthier and safer digital space ecosystem?
Well, I think there are many things that individuals can do. They can look at how they are possibly part of the problem, maybe unwittingly. We have a slogan that we want in everyone's ear: take care before you share. Pause, take care before you share. Because make sure you try to validate whether the source of the information, and don't be part of the spread of bad information. Also, maybe demand change. I think there are many parents out there who are extremely concerned for their children's safety online. And I think parents are a very powerful political force that can demand change in the algorithms that are, feeding their children dangerous and harmful content. That could go a long way to change. I think there is a lot of power, knowledge of how your data is being used, how your data is being scraped and sold to advertisers, and then why you are being fed certain things. So I think we need to take back our own rights as individuals, and demand a more healthy information ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Melissa. That's very powerful, very inspiring. For those that are tuning in, the principles are designed to foster healthier and safer information spaces that champion human rights and more peaceful societies. And you can find more information available at www.un.org/information integrity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Carmen. Thanks for everything that you're doing to contribute to information integrity, too.